Today, I'm going to build a LEGO Droid factory on Geonosis, and I'm going to go a little out of my comfort zone and use Technic so it actually moves. I rarely use Technic, but I've already got a good idea for how the mechanisms will work, so I should be able to figure it out. Anyway, let's get building. I'll need a tall base for my mechanism to work. It's actually pretty simple. I attached all my droids to a track that spins. I'll cover either end so it looks like the droids are on a conveyor belt. I'll also make some machines working on the droids later. That's the part that's going to be difficult to build. Then I built the floor and a safety rail so that this doesn't happen. I threw on some basic greebles. I could have made it a lot more interesting, but all the Technic stuff took a long time, so I went more basic with the rest of the building. Of course, I had to put some control panels and screens on the walls so that the workers can run the machines and play video games when their boss isn't looking. Now it's time for the most complicated part of the build, which is the machines working on the droids. I already had a pretty good idea of how it would work, but actually making it a reality with my limited Technic collection made it a whole lot harder. I'll try to be detailed as I show you how it works, in case you want to try building it yourself. Turns out there are two types of LEGO gears, spur and bevel. Spur gears only connect when parallel, and bevel gears connect perpendicularly, and they can't mix. It took me way too long to figure out how to make them work since I needed both. The solution ended up being pretty simple, just have an axle connect the spur and bevel. That way the two types of gears don't actually mix. I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do for the actual machine part that works on the droids. I could have tried to build a welding torch or something like that, but wasn't sure if it would really be recognizable if I did, so I took the simple route and used some LEGO tool pieces. So how it works is the tool is connected by a bar to a stack of Technic bricks, which is connected to a Technic beam, which connects to the spinning gears. Each part is alternated and the bar fits into a slot, so when it turns, it's limited to an up and down motion. I can't explain it super well, but hopefully you can understand it by watching it. I guess that proves how little I know about Technic if I can't even explain what I built. Alright, so here's like the working factory, as you can see. Basically what I did was I designed the whole thing first, then took it apart in sections so I could film myself putting it together, and when I did that it wasn't quite working right, so I had to troubleshoot a bunch of things and change a couple things. I don't remember exactly what I changed, but it's weird that it was working and then I put it back together the same way and it wasn't. But anyway, so if you're trying to like follow along so you can build this yourself, be aware that you might need to move some stuff. But basically the idea is this thing, this vertical axle is spinning. It gets to these bevel gears which switch from this direction to this direction. That connects to one of these gears, which connects to one of these gears, which connects to one of these gears, and also goes through to connect to this thing, and more gears to this thing. And basically what it is it has this lift arm kind of sticking off, or beam, I don't know why they call it lift arm, I'd call it a beam. Anyway, and then has this thing that can rotate, and basically it just, as it spins, it makes the thing go up and down. And I think it is a little bit illegal when you look at, maybe if I look at it from this way, you can see that this section here is kind of getting bent a little bit, so it might be a little bit illegal, but it looks really cool, so I don't care. I don't think it's gonna damage the pieces very much. I mean, I think if I have to replace a couple pins after doing this, it's totally worth it because it looks really cool. Alright, I survived the Technic part, so now I can get back to the nice simple system building. I filled in the back and sides with some gray brick and built these pillars to support the ceiling. I attached some round bricks to the ceiling to look like pipes and used some angled panels to make the walls more interesting. And finally, on the roof, I built a Geonosis landscape. I think that having the factory underground makes it cooler and different from other Geonosis MOCs. Too bad I don't have any Geonosian minifigs. It would have been cool to have some tunnels and things. We'll have to stick with the good old clones and droids up top. In the factory, I'll use some random alien minifigs and just say they were hired by the separatists. Now that I think about it, it would be really cool to build a big Geonosis MOC in this style where it's wide and tall but not very thick. That way I could have all sorts of underground rooms and tunnels. It'd be similar to the Death Slice we're getting this fall, but would make a lot more sense. There's no way I have that many dark orange pieces, but it's cool to think about. I'll add it to my ever-growing list of MOCs I'll build if I can get a lot more money and time. Alright, I've got to admit, as much of a pain in the butt this thing was to make, it's super cool. I love watching all the moving parts. I wish I could have motorized it, but LEGO motors are ridiculously expensive and a hand crank works just fine. This makes me want to try to include moving parts in more of my builds. Most MOCs don't have an obvious need for movement like this one does, so I'll try to pay more attention for places where I could include little mechanisms. I feel like it adds to the MOC in the same way lights would, but is a lot cheaper as long as I didn't use the motors. I'm also glad I built the landscape on top. I had originally planned to just have a mostly flat roof, but doing it this way adds a lot more to the story and world building. Once again, it's a shame I don't have any Geonosians. I tried to collect the minifigures I want before they retire each year, but that doesn't leave much room for older figures that would be good to have. I always have a hard time deciding what to collect each year and what to spend on MOCs. I'd be interested to hear how you guys decide. Here's a shuttle back so you can see it all working now that it's finished. This has got to be one of my favorite MOCs I built in a while. I hope you've liked it too. Comment if you have any ideas for moving MOCs like this in the future, and have a great day.